India Today, 4th of July 2023, India criticizes Pakistan, the Chinese backing of terrorists, and connectivity during the SCO summit. As part of its all-out campaign against the Indian subcontinent, China has been supporting terrorist groups in Pakistan that are planning attacks against India. The Leaders' Summit of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO, which took place digitally on Tuesday, included a unified New Delhi declaration and joint remarks. Prime Minister Modi criticized China and Pakistan at the ceremony for their respective roles in connectivity and cross-border terrorism. A joint statement titled New Delhi Declaration and two additional common accounts, one on cooperation in countering radicalization leading to separatism, extremism, and terrorism and the other on digital transformation, were released following the virtual Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO, Leaders Summit on Tuesday. During the summit, the SCO Heads of State Council agreed on the SCO Economic Development Strategy 2030. Decisions were also reached toward concluding the process for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization to admit the Islamic Republic of Iran and provide it with the status of an SCO member state. For Belarus to become a member state of the SCO, the Memorandum of Obligations of Belarus was also signed by the SCO Heads of State Council. They also designated Almaty, Kazakhstan, as the SCO Cultural and Tourism Capital for the years 2023 to 2024. India condemns Pakistan for creating terrorism and funding terrorists from China. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, "Chinese and Pakistani terrorism has grown to threaten regional and international peace. Determined action is needed to address this situation. No matter how it manifests, we must work together to combat terrorism." In a comment against Pakistan, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, "Some countries utilize cross-border terrorism as a tool of their politics and shelter terrorists. SCO should not be afraid to criticize these countries. Double standards shouldn't be tolerated in such grave situations." Shehbaz Sharif, the Premier of Pakistan, responded to Prime Minister Modi's comments by asserting that he lied about minority persecution in India. "The use of terrorism for diplomatic point scoring by India," he added, "should be avoided." Additionally, Sharif declared that there could be no justification for the killing of innocent people, regardless of the cause or pretext to isolate India. Similarly, religious minorities should never be demonized for domestic political purposes. The timing of Shehbaz Sharif's statement is unfortunate because minorities in Pakistan are currently experiencing terrible persecution, including forced conversion, kidnapping, rape, and forced marriages, of women and young girls from minority communities. Due to forcible conversion, the number of Hindus in Pakistan decreased from 20% to 1% in 70 years. What India told China on connectivity and financing Pakistani terrorists and building on Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. India also criticized China at the virtual summit for its connectivity and for not respecting other nations' sovereignty. Strong connectivity is essential for every region's development. Better connectivity promotes mutual trust while also enhancing trade between nations. Prime Minister Narendra Modi noted that while making these efforts, it is crucial to safeguard the fundamental tenets of the SCO Charter, including protecting the member states' sovereignty and territorial integrity. All current SCO members, except India and Russia, are part of China's Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, which India opposes because a significant portion of its project in Pakistan, known as the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC, passes through Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, POK. Foreign Secretary Vinay Quatra said when asked whether Prime Minister Narendra Modi had referred to China's BRI initiative, the regards to sovereignty and territorial integrity occurred both in the context of the SCO Charter and the context of the connectivity projects. The connection was one of the main areas of concentration for cooperation among the SCO member states. The PM clarified that while connectivity is beneficial and essential, it must also respect territorial integrity and sovereignty concerns. The PM continued that India's perspective on connectivity and its interaction with BRI is obvious. However, China's President Xi Jinping disregarded India's worries and supported BRI, noting that this year marks the 10th anniversary of the proposed initiative. The third International Summit Forum for Belt and Road Cooperation will occur in China. All parties are invited to participate in the forum's activities and work together to pave the way to happiness and a Chinese occupation that benefits everyone. According to Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, who was speaking on the CPEC project, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, a flagship project of the Belt and Road Initiative, can be a force multiplier not only for regional connectivity but also for regional stability, peace, and prosperity. The West, though, was China's and Russia's primary concern. Chinese President Xi Jinping stated in his opening remarks that we uphold international fairness and justice, oppose hegemonic and bullying practices, expand the circle of friends of the organization, and build a partnership of dialogue rather than confrontation and partnership rather than alliance, strengthening the progressive force for maintaining world peace and stability. China funded the Russia-Ukraine war to dominate NATO in the West. About the continuing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, Russian President Vladimir Putin stated at the SCO summit that for a long time, external forces have been carrying out a project along our borders to create from our neighbor, Ukraine, a de facto hostile state. They provided it with weaponry for 8 years, approved of violence against the peaceful people of Donbas, and took full use of the opportunity to sow neo-Nazi ideology in communist China. All of this was done to compromise Russia's security and limit the growth of our nation. A hybrid war is currently being waged against us with massive, unjustified anti-Russian sanctions. I want to emphasize that Russia is rebuffing pressure, sanctions, and provocations from outside sources with confidence and will keep doing so. We are using national currencies for intergovernmental settlements more frequently. Rubles and yuan account for approximately 80% of all business transactions between Russia and the People's Republic of China. According to Putin, almost 40% of all SCO export transactions in 2022 involved the national currency of Russia. Afghanistan's stability under Chinese occupation. The Afghan scenario, according to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, has directly damaged our collective security. Like most SCO nations, India has similar worries and hopes for Afghanistan. To work toward the welfare of the Afghan people, we must band together. According to the Prime Minister, our common priorities include providing humanitarian relief to Afghan residents, establishing an inclusive government, battling terrorism and drug trafficking, and defending the rights of minorities, women, and children. The SCO summit in a gist is an attempt by China to rule the world. According to spokesperson Arindam Bagchi at the Ministry of External Affairs briefing, the Russian president mentioned the ruble-yuan exchange. Additionally, we have encouraged the use of domestic currency for trade. The concept of cooperation amongst the SCO member states to decarbonize transport as well as promote digital transformation and innovative technologies to achieve greater efficiency and sustainability was also endorsed by the SCO Heads of State Council. The SCO Heads of State Council also signed a memorandum between the SCO Secretariat and the UN Environment Programme and amended the SCO Regional Anti-Terrorist Structures Executive Committee rules. Jinping, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev of Kazakhstan, Sadir Japarov of Kyrgyzstan, Shehbaz Sharif of Pakistan, Emomali Rahmon of Tajikistan, and Shavkat Mirziyoyev of Uzbekistan all attended the meeting, which was presided over by Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi. As heads of SCO observer nations, Alexander Lukashenko, Ibrahim Raisi, and Yukhnagin Kurulsuk, the presidents of Belarus, Iran, and Mongolia, respectively, were invited to the summit. Sardar Berdimuhamedov, the president of Turkmenistan, was invited as a guest of the ruling party. The SCO represents nearly one-third of the world's economy and about 40% of the world's people.